best boxing content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and punch that bell for notifications.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from the Chumash Casino here in the beautiful city of Santa Ynez, California. For tonight, for your boxing entertainment, Gary Shaw Productions, in association with Banner Promotions, Chumash Casino Resort, Nemiroff, and Showtime, are proud to present Championship Boxing on Showbox, the new generation. This fight is being sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission. Executive officer is George Dodd. Your three judges ringside scoring the bout, should it go the distance, Raul Cais Sr., Dr. Ruben Garcia, and Dr. James Jenkin. And the man in charge of the action when the bell sounds, referee Jose Cobian. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Junior Middleweight Championship of the World. And now, fight fans, the moment you've all been waiting for. Live on Showbox from the Chumash Casino in Santa Ynez, California, where champions are made and battles are fought. Let the battles begin! Introducing first, the challenger out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks trimmed with red. He weighed in officially at 154 pounds. His professional record, 34 wins, 1 loss with 0 bouts even, 24 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Coogly, Australia, by way of Hollywood, California, introducing the number 13th ranked WBO Junior Welterweight contender, Daniel "The Rock" Dawson. And his opponent fighting across the ring out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks trimmed with gold. He weighed in officially at 135 pounds. His professional record, 35 wins, 0 losses with 0 bouts even. 23 of those wins coming by way of knockout. From Brovary, Ukraine, by way of Los Angeles, California, he is the reigning, defending WBO Junior Middleweight Champion of the World. Please welcome SERHIY "The Razor" Dzynziruk. Once again, here to give you instructions, your referee, Jose Cobian.
Target. You've been given instructions. Touch them up, come back with the bell. Good luck. Mouthpiece in, seconds out.
You can see as they stand there, you think of Dzynziruk as the rangier fighter. Dawson is a more compact fighter. But look at the respective reaches. Interesting. Dawson with a 1-inch advantage. Will that help him nullify Dzynziruk's jab, which is the champion's #1 weapon? We will see. The rules here are a little bit different. Most important ones, referee can stop the fight only. Can't be saved by the bell in any round. Title fight rules.
Oh, it's been a long time waiting for both these fighters. Now they're finally back in the ring. Dzynziruk, the champion in the black trunks with a gold lining. Razor written on the back. Dawson in the black and red. The last fight for the champ 18 months ago, he won a unanimous decision over Joel Julio in Germany. And despite the 15-month layoff for Dawson, he's had 10 fights since '07, while Dzynziruk has had only 3 in that same time span. And Dawson was telling us he thinks that his activity over the last 3 or 4 years, being much more rigorous than Dzynziruk's, will work to his advantage tonight.
Well, so far, Dawson keeping his promise about changing angles. He's using a little bit of lateral movement.
Unlike our opening fight where the fighters both wanted to come out and be aggressive, after the long layoff, both these fighters thinking that it might take a round or two to size things up.
Yeah, but it seems like the champ has already found his mark with that jab. I mean, he's slicing in and slicing out. He looks good so far.
couple of body blows from Dawson.
Straight down the middle. There you go. Straight down the middle. What's on the right hand? Right move your neck. Straight down the middle. Straight down the middle. There's one.
Two fighters going toe-to-toe, and there's Dzynziruk working that jab effective early. And you see Dawson just switched.
Good elbow.
See, if Dawson wants to change angles, that's fine. But in changing angles, he's staying on the outside. And I don't think he can win this fight on the outside. Now he gets inside. When he does, Dzynziruk's going to spin. He's got to get inside, stay inside. Not so easy to do.
Dzynziruk, a classic European-style fighter. I mean, looks almost textbook perfect the way he lines up, the way he throws his punches.
Yeah, he has that style down pat, and man, it's nothing harder to defeat than a southpaw with a punishing jab. I mean, it's just, you can't get through it.
Watch the head. Watch the head.
You like those southpaws, Antonio, don't you? I don't understand why.
For some odd reason.
See, Dawson looks like he's studying Dzynziruk right now. There's not that much to take away when you study him. He doesn't give you much.
Well, he doesn't change much either.
Exactly.
Good uppercut there by Dawson. Basically, with Dzynziruk, what you see is what you get. And we've gotten not a whole lot of punches thrown in that first round, not a whole lot of chatter in each corner either between rounds. Dawson coming out a bit more aggressive here to start the second. Good body shot.
Elbow.
You know, Kurt, I find it interesting that Dzynziruk basically refuses to fight on the inside. It's not his game. It doesn't benefit him. And he's very good at not having to fight on the inside. He's from the Ukraine. There are two heavyweights from the Ukraine named Klitschko. They got the same thing going for them. They don't want to fight on the inside, and they don't.
And it's worked out well for them.
You see the difference in jab speed? It's night and day. I mean, when Dawson throws his jab, it seems like he's just landing out. And Dzynziruk is snapping that jab and turning it over. It's just like a punch almost.
Very crisp. You can see Dawson trying to line him up. Dzynziruk won't give him a clean shot and comes right back with the jab.
And I don't know if you could see this on the TV screen, but Dzynziruk's eyes are focused entirely on Dawson's chest, not his eyes.
There's a warning from the referee, Jose Cobain, to Dawson just to not grab Dzynziruk behind the head. And you can see those eyes.
Steve, you pointed out a point. You pointed out something earlier that now is obvious to me. You said that Dawson may want to do a lot of things, but he just may not be fast enough to get inside. And I think you're right.
Yeah, it's a matter of speed. I think speed is what you need against Dzynziruk, and I don't think Dawson has enough of it.
Good solid right jab again from Dzynziruk. I mean, Dzynziruk just stands there, uses the jab when he wants to, and takes whatever Dawson tries to throw at him. Dawson grabbing a little bit there as he threw the uppercut. Got away with it.
One thing about Dawson, though, he's consistent in his conditioning. He's always in great shape. He will be there all the way through.
But how does he win around? I mean, he has to really hurt Dzynziruk in order to get around. I mean, because he's not going to win a boxing match.
Break!
Final seconds in round two. Nothing spectacular, but still effective as Dzynziruk. Here Dawson's trainer, the former heavyweight contender Justin Fortune, another Aussie, telling him to be careful of that jab. And that's something they told us in the fighter meetings they knew was coming with Dzynziruk. because that's his punch, yet they have not been able to avoid it so far.
Antonio, you like the strategy for Dawson to step to the right and let the right hand go?
Yeah, you know, they say the best way to get to a southpaw is a straight right hand and a left hook, but you see he's throwing his punches wide. I think he needs to jab with Dzynziruk. I mean, don't give up on your jab because the guy has a successful jab. You got to continue to stick with it.
That jab has been effective by Dzynziruk. Really almost exclusively is what he's throwing. Comes with the right hook there. As soon as you say that. He's fighting almost one-handed, is Dzynziruk.
Yeah, he hasn't released the left hand that much. I mean, I think he did. He went to the body with it a couple times, landed some good shots to the body. But why use the left hand when he can't get by your jab? It's a frustrating fight when you're Dawson.
Cannot find a way to get inside. Comes back with the right hand there.
It's no great secret why Dzynziruk doesn't have to fight on the inside. Watch every time Dawson steps close. Dzynziruk just moves his feet. It's not that complicated. Or he holds, one or the other. Both negate Dawson being inside.
It is amazing when you watch Dzynziruk fight, the focus that he has. It's almost like target practice. He lines his eyes up, punches right there, this time delivering a big blow with the left hand.
You get the impression that when he does use that left hand, he's going to make it count.
Yeah, Dawson said he was going to give angles. He's giving a lot of angles, but what he should be doing is having his head move side to side instead of his head staying right in one stationary position.
Dzynziruk connects again with that jab.
Another thing Dzynziruk does well is when he jabs or fires in combination, as he just did, he doesn't stand there waiting for somebody to hit him back. He moves. Little subtle move to change angles.
That's a mark of an experienced champion. I'm thoroughly impressed with the jab. And I think that if Daniel can give some head movement and maybe have Dzynziruk miss a couple jabs, he might be less willing to just snap it out there, but he hasn't missed yet with it.
It's been effective so far through 3 rounds.
Box.
Any effects of the layoff you see, is particularly in the champ?
Not with the champ. I mean, the champ was crisp and sharp right through from the beginning of the fight, and he's still picking it up his pace right now. Don't see any layoff. With Dawson, it's hard to tell, because I really haven't had a chance to see him in action a lot other than what I saw on tape.
Dzynziruk coming out at a faster pace to start this 4th round than he has through the previous 3. Bouncing around a lot more and throwing in combinations much more.
Right. When you think about ring rust, what that is just a lack of timing. When you throw your punches, they're all timed, and you want to put your combination together in timely fashion. And if you're off just by a little bit, you miss the guy, you don't have your precision on your punches. That's ring rust.
Well, he has been precise with that jab all night, and now seems to be more confident as this fight goes on, even though Dawson has landed a couple of good ones.
Kurt, one of the reasons we like this change of opponent for Dzynziruk is that we had a feeling Dawson would try to win all the way. Might not be capable of winning, but would try, and he's showing that this round. He's kind of accelerating a little bit, jumping in with some shots, trying to back Dzynziruk up. Easier said than done.
Yeah, Dzynziruk just backs him up every time he comes close.
And I was kind of fooled into believing that Dawson had a great chance of the upset, but I have to remember that I only saw highlights, and all the highlights look good.
And you also have to remember that Dzynziruk is a champion and has been since 2005. This is his 6th title defense. The speed with which he throws that jab is impressive.
Yeah, it's punishing. And you have to look at the just what I would call the grade of the fighter. When you look at the Olympian, the guy has an enormous amount of amateur experience, and you look at the other fighter has kickboxing experience. It's like night and day.
0 amateur fights for Dawson.
Went from being a 7-time world champion in kickboxing right to being a professional boxer. Said he was a fan of the Rocky films and always wanted to be a boxer. So now turning pro as a boxer, 34-1 coming into this one that you talked about, that 30 of those fights being in Australia. Never fighting a fighter of the caliber of the champion, SERHIY DZINZIRUK.
And when you say caliber, you mean a guy that know his way around the ring. He's giving this guy angle. He's backing up every time Dawson tries to be aggressive. He's not a stationary target. But if he sat still and went punch for punch with Dawson, I bet he'll have a better chance. That won't happen tonight.
Another round, and another round for Dzinziruk.
Step back. Step back. Step back. Box.
5th round of a scheduled 12-round title defense for the junior middleweight champion, SERHIY DZINZIRUK. All 4 rounds so far clearly in Dzinziruk's corner. No surprise that we are here in the 5th round. This is the way Dzinziruk has always fought. His last 8 fights have gone either 11 or 12 rounds.
History.
Right. He knocks a lot of people out, at least lately in his career. It shows an effective left hand. A couple of left shots to the body. We hadn't seen that much.
Yeah, very timely shots, and Dawson with a couple of decent right hands as well.
Yeah, they had a good exchange then, and that posts well for Dawson. He has to make this an ugly fight. He can't sit out and just let Dzinziruk time him repeatedly with that jab.
Dzinziruk just finds a way to get inside there, snapping back the head of Dawson.
That is one of the most beautiful jabs I've seen in a long time.
It's almost indefensible.
Yeah. Because it's crisp, it's fast, and it looks pretty powerful. I can see why he has the nickname the Razor, because I'm sure he's cut a lot of guys with that jab.
And I'm wondering how can Dawson counter that jab, and I don't see how he can do it. I mean, if he throws the hook, Dzinziruk is stepping back. I mean, how you counter that jab, and that's what it's going to take in order to beat this guy.
Probably a right hand up the middle is his only hope.
Or another southpaw with a straight left hand counter from the right hand.
There it is again. I would guess 70-75% of his punches tonight have been that right jab. But as you said earlier, it's been effective. Why bother throwing anything else?
Yeah, he's winning the fight with it, as he usually does.
Comes back with the left hand there. You can see it just snaps Dawson's head back every time.
And it's accurate. It's accurate. I mean, he rarely misses with that jab.
No elbow.
I believe if he wanted to, if he stepped it up a little bit, go to the body and put some punches together, he might be able to get Dawson out of there, because he's definitely frustrated by the lack ability to hit Dzinziruk with a straight, solid punch.
Connects with the left to the head that time. All the champ so far.
Box.
SERHIY DZINZIRUK, the WBO junior middleweight champion of the world, looking like it so far through 5 rounds. Virtually having his way with Daniel Dawson so far. Another series of right hands. Comes with the left that time. But each punch crisp and on the target. Dawson can't do much but take it right now.
Yeah, Dzynziruk is putting on a clinic. He wants to fight in America now. He wants to show the people on Showtime that he deserves to be considered the best 154-pound fighter out there right now. Step on the gas pedal. I mean, get this guy out of there in front of national televised audience.
Coming with the combinations now to the head of Dawson. Maybe he heard you.
He's confident right now. Again, the Klitschko comparison. The Klitschkos dominate and don't take chances to go for knockouts. Let's see if he's different.
Watch that elbow.
Having had an 18-month layoff, do you continue to fight because you need the rounds?
No, I think
Watch
if
that
he
elbow.
feels he
Twice.
could get rid of him, he would. It's just really not his way.
Make no mistake about it. Now the Klitschkos have both tremendous right hands, and they don't mind landing on you.
Well, his right hand has been effective tonight. Mostly the jab, but whenever he wants to deliver it, he's been able to. Right there. One of the rare times he follows it up with the left.
Yeah, he's befuddling Dawson right now. And let's remember, Dawson's never been in anybody like this before. It's a huge jump up in class for Dawson.
Right.
Yeah, I felt watching the tapes of him that he was one of the more, I think, better kickboxers that ever made the transition to the professional ranks. But again, he's never been in with a class fighter, the class of Dzynziruk, and it's showing tonight.
Think back to Troy Dorsey, who was a featherweight champ at one point. Great kickboxer, and he made the transition really well. He was probably the first guy to do it.
Yeah.
Transition so difficult because of the balance. In kickboxing, you go with the weight mostly on your back leg. In boxing, you go just the opposite.
I think if you're born to be a fighter, you just have that talent, you have that gift. If not, then you just don't.
2 out of the 3 were fights of the year. I mean, incredible. And the last fight, you know, they both won one, and then the last fight was dead even going into the 12th round. And what a 12th round.
Box.
This one's scheduled to go 12 tonight. We're halfway home. So far, it has been all SERHIY DZINZIRUK, the reigning WBO junior middleweight champion, having his way with Daniel Dawson. Dawson just lost his balance on that one. And maybe, you know, Antonio, what has been as impressive as the razor-like jab that SERHIY DZINZIRUK has thrown tonight, as example there, is his defense and being able to get out of the way of punches, the few that Dawson has been able to throw.
Yeah, it seems as if he sees all the punches. He can't really get tricked into anything. And that's the punch that hurt a fighter the most, the one that he doesn't see. And Dawson is right in front of him. He sees everything coming.
This is a clinic.
You know, American fight fans love slugfests. That first fight tonight was very exciting, obviously, but I got no problem with a guy winning like this. I enjoy watching it. I mean, this is textbook boxing. Nothing wrong with it. Not every fight has to be won the same way.
Right. It has been a textbook example delivered by Dzynziruk.
But I'm a firm believer, Steve, if you're dominating a fighter to this magnitude, why not, you know, sit in there and put some shots together to get a fighter out of there? Because, you know, this guy shouldn't go the distance with a fighter as skilled as Dzynziruk.
Well, he's landed a couple of sharp left hands here in this round, and you know, we've talked about it. As he lands another good combination, that most of his fights do go the distance. That's just the way he fights, even though he is the champion.
And let's keep in mind, this fight's only half over, so he might still get the stoppage late. Maybe the biggest surprise of all is that Dawson's not cut or swollen that much in the face with all those jabs.
Oh, that's a big left hand that
He
does a lot
busted
of
him
damage.
up. He busted him up with that left hand.
And then a left to the body, followed by a right to the head. And it seems as though Dzynziruk is sensing an opportunity. Dzynziruk keeps pushing the pace. Strong, straight left hand. And for the first time, you get the feeling that Dawson's just trying to make it through the round now.
Well, Dzynziruk is dialing in with these combinations right now. He's looking really good. You can tell now he's sitting down on his punches.
Box.
7 rounds in the books, 7 rounds on the scorecard to the champion Dzynziruk. He turns Dawson around to start this 8th round.
Dawson, for large chunks of that 7th round, Kurt, was backing up. It was the first time in the fight he was backing up, and that says volumes.
Yeah, it was taking a lot of hard shots from the champ. And then you have to ask yourself, they're sending him out here saying, okay, this is for the title, win this fight, but they're not giving him any advice how to win this fight.
Is there any advice he could get?
I mean, there is advice, but can he do it? I mean, you know, you have to counter that jab with your hook. I think he's a little bit too slow in order to land that hook from that angle. So what do? You got to give yourself head movement. You just can't be a target for that jab. Right now, he's a sitting duck.
He really is, and Dzynziruk's now lining him up with combinations. After throwing almost exclusively that jab for much of the night. In this round, he's showing the 1-2.
And a fair question to ask. We've mentioned that Dawson's making a huge jump up in class. Is Dzynziruk dominating so much because he's in with a B-level fighter, or is he that good? Maybe we can't answer that tonight.
I think Dawson is not an A-level, A-class fighter, you know, but he's a good test coming off a long layoff. And he is what he is. I mean, if he's in there with a straight-up face-to-face fighter, he'll have a better chance to look better. But with a classic traditional boxer, you know, just don't have a chance.
Right.
And with the crispness of Dzynziruk's punches so far tonight, I don't know how many guys would have much of a chance. They may be able to try and counter it somehow, but I don't know if they would be able to avoid it.
Well, you know, that's his bread and butter, definitely. And when you're talking about the top-level fighters at 154, he'll get tested, but, I mean, they're going to have to surely bring their A-game in order to stop that jab.
Yeah, and the speed of a Sergio Martinez or a Paul Williams compared to the speed of a Daniel Dawson, they're totally different animals.
Of course, right. He is steadily landing that right jab. And, you know, one guy who's in the audience tonight we saw earlier, Alfredo Angulo. You know, another fighter, and you wonder if that's not someone that Dzynziruk wants to try and set up, even though Dzynziruk's the champion, to try and get some more name recognition in the United States.
I think that's a good style matchup for Dzynziruk because Angulo is going to come forward into that jab.
Dawson losing his balance again. And just being fodder, basically, for Dzynziruk as he steps back in.
Steve, how many more rounds do we have to see this type of clinic before Dawson corner start considering, you know, stopping the fight on the fact that he's just outclassed, he's outmanned, and
but he doesn't seem to be severely hurt. I mean, he's got a little blood coming out of his mouth, but that's it, even though all 8 rounds have gone to Dzynziruk so far.
I tell you,
Dzynziruk says he plans to fight exclusively in the United States from now on. Moved to Los Angeles in March. He's been training there ever since. His wife, Liana, just showed up here 2 nights ago to be here for this fight while his 2 daughters are still back in the Ukraine. She'll go back there after, before moving to the States.
Hey, pick him up.
when I think of the Angulo fight, I would say I'll see him having some of the same issues that Dawson has, but Angulo can punch. He's a strong fighter, and I think he's a top-notch fighter, unlike Dawson right now.
Yeah, and Angulo's faced a lot tougher opposition than Dawson.
Well, we've talked about how one-sided this fight has been. You can see Dzynziruk landing. Once again, another right followed by a left. Doing whatever he wants to.
Break lead.
And among Dzynziruk's other attributes, he's very poised. You know, when he does get hit, and it hasn't happened much, he doesn't show any effects. He doesn't panic. He stays right in the pocket, goes back to what he does best.
Focus is the word you think about when you see him.
Yeah.
It's like he never takes his eyes off the target, whether it's coming at him or backing up, as he's forced Dawson to do many times tonight.
And to address Antonio's point last round about, do you think about pulling Dawson out? I think if it was a regular 10-round fight, you might. Being that it's a world title fight, Daniel Dawson may never see another world title fight. So, you know, he's a tough Aussie. He's going to be in there all the way, whether he should be or not.
And one of the few times he's involved in a brawl, getting Dzynziruk up close. Gets in with the right hand, whether it's up or beneath the gloves.
I don't think I can recall a southpaw having such a dominant jab before.
That's right, that's right.
I would have to think back hard, but I don't remember it.
Good combination from Dzynziruk.
Breakley.
Marvin Hagler had a good jab, but it wasn't as chopping and as, you know, as tough as this one. As dominant as this jab.
Follows it up with the left hand here. Once again, final seconds of the round, and Dzynziruk seems to be turning it on. Ninth round is over. Another round at Dawson. I don't think it's a lack of work.
Daniel, step back.
I think it's a lack of being able to get close, right?
It's a lack of talent, and you know, it hurts me sometimes when I see these guys in the corner. I mean, granted, he has fought before, so I guess, but you need to tell the guy instructions. How do you negate that jab? Give him something to go on. Don't just scream and shout at him. I mean, the guy's showing he has a lot of heart.
And he is working as hard as he can. He just can't get away from that sharp jab mostly, or any punch really that Dzynziruk's thrown at him.
I think the problem can be summed up. Justin Fortune landed more F-bombs between rounds than Dawson has landed punches in the fight.
Now this is the first fight that Dawson and Fortune have worked together. Maybe that having something to do with it. I think it's really more Dzynziruk having everything to do with it.
Yeah, effort is not the problem.
No,
for
not
Dawson.
at all.
He's just out of his depth here, that's all.
Yep.
And now using that right hand to set up the left.
I mean, even the punches that Dawson is throwing just has nothing on him. He's not getting set. Dzynziruk is not allowing him to get set because he's moving and giving him angles. I mean, he's just like a fish out of water right now.
Good, strong left hand by Dzynziruk.
He needs to press it right now and get him out of there. I think he have a chance to stop this guy.
Catching him with the overhand right now. Follows that up with the left hook.
I'm curious to know the accuracy of these punches. Do you have punch stats?
Just say he's on the button most of the time, and you would be accurate.
On the chin.
Whether it's right hand or left hand. Under a minute to go. And the referee stopping the fight.
That's a good stoppage.
Okay, buddy.
Dawson having no chance in this fight all night. He was just getting pummeled there in the 10th round. Good stoppage by our referee, Jose Collier.
I love the stoppage, Kurt, because the unwritten rule has always been if a fighter is punching back, you don't stop the fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes. 2 minutes, 12 seconds of the 10th round. For your winner by TKO and still champion, SERHIY the Razor Dziziruk.